Hello and welcome to a new video where I just kind of wanted to talk about a team I built for the Bastards Beacon. The new torch that's like everything is basically ordained and the deck bosses are a bit more difficult. This is like a very rough draft of a team. This is basically just what I came up with like on the spot today. And it's just kind of what I wanted to talk about a bit because I had something like this in mind for quite a while. So yeah. This team isn't that difficult to pick up, I would say, but it is working pretty well for me, especially because you are getting a lot of upfront offense, because Bastards Beacon, Region 1, you only have 2 mastery, you instantly have to deal with ordained enemies. So you really want a big offense that can just work without mastery, and this team does that really well. So I just kind of wanted to talk about what this team actually does. So, I'm just gonna start from left to right. The first one is Jester. It's Virtuoso, obviously. Why am I even talking about this? This is Virtuoso. Virtuoso is just his best path. Like, this should come to nobody's surprise. He's in rank 4. You run pretty much just Razor's Wit, Inspiring Tune, Finale, Solo, and Encore. This is pretty much what I run on Jester pretty much all the time. It's very solid. Just really good burst damage from Finale. Finale is so insanely good, and that's the main reason why he's on this team. 6 to 12 plus Solo. This is 12 to 24. That's basically final region damage on a non-mastered move. You don't have to master this. You don't have to put any mastery into Jester. He's already solid. You can upgrade Inspiring Tune if you want to, but there are some places where I would much rather see the mastery. You can just drop his mastery in the first turn completely. He will deal great damage, just because of how good Finale base damage is. That being said, your opener is just you press Solo, you press Finale, and you go from there. That's basically just Jester. With him, if you want like to focus on quirks or something, you just go for something defensive like Tough. Tough is really good. It's not super good, but it's good enough. Or you can go for something extremely offensive like Deadly is great. Just the usual Bloodthirsty, amazing. You know, the usual. Now, next up, Vestal. This is Seraph. And because it is very focused on consecrations, which is basically the only way you can really make her work, and like at a very high level, because the other stuff she does is just not that great. And consecrations on this team work really well. I'm going to explain more about this in a second, because you kind of need to see like the entire team to see why Seraph works so well. For moves, you run Judgment, you run Divine Grace, Consecration Fortitude, Light, and Mantra. You can swap this around a lot. I've experimented with a lot of different loadouts. The important one I would like to see always kept is basically just Light. The rest is extremely flexible. Like, you can run Judgment, you can run Ministrations, you can run Sanctuary, Divine Comfort, even Illumination if you swap the Confessor for like specific acts. Mace Bash is fine. You don't really get in the front line too much, but you can play this team in a way that makes her go to the front line. You just have to swap out Leper basically. But it is possible, or you run a different path on Highwayman, but if you just want to play on the bag, which I think is the most impactful, you just run pretty much this. And you can just swap to Ministrations, you can swap out Mantra, you can swap out Fortitude, you can swap out Judgment. This is just very flexible. Your opener is Light on rank 1. I will tell you why in a second. You heal, it's just Vestal. For quirks, it's just good stuff. Like, if you have anything you really want on her, just go for it. You don't need anything super offensive. It's just, if you find something defensive, sure. But something that's just utility focused might be better. Like, if you manage to find it, I had a Field Surgeon. The one that just gives you, like, basically the Healing Salve combat item just as a free action sometimes. That thing is amazing. But her quirks up, like, just good stuff. Next up, we have Leper. On the path, I'm still not sure. You can run Tempest or you can run Poet. I'm gonna go with Poet for now, because Leper is very tank focused on this team. And that reflects in the moves. You run Chop, you run Withstand, you run Solemnity, because obviously, you run Intimidate, because obviously, and you run Bash. This is just basically whatever kit you want. If you just run Leper, you just pick whatever kit you run for that. The important part is Withstand. Like, you definitely want Withstand, because this is your opener, and you will be in rank 3, and this is basically your only option. You could run Ruin or Revenge as your opener, but I just don't like the boost. It's just, you don't have a lot of synergy for Ruin, so that kind of just destroys the move because you aren't very fast. And sometimes you just don't taunt on turn 2, so Ruin can be dead. And Revenge is just too risky. I would just much rather prevent the safety of Withstand. This team really needs a tank because a lot of these heroes are very fragile, and Vestal has kind of bad healing. It can be just extremely spiky. It's like you pop Divine Grace, you get a fat heal, and then for the next like few turns you don't get anything. Because Mantra isn't a great heal sometimes, and you kind of want to never press Mantra unless something goes very wrong or it's at the very end of the fight. But, so you really want that tank that just drags in all the damage, and Leper's perfect for that. And the final piece is Yellow Hand Highwayman. Yellow Hand Highwayman, Jesus Christ. You might be asking, why you run Rogue? He's in the front. I'm gonna come to that in a second. But Yellow Hand runs Wicked Slice, Pistol Shot, Duelist Advance, Take Aim, and where is it? Point Blank Shot. These 5. You can swap this around. You can drop Wicked Slice for like more utility. You can drop Duelist Advance for other utility. Like just depends on how you want to play him. The reason why I'm running Yellow Hand is mainly because it has, in my opinion, better Point Blank Shot than Rogue, and it has better Take Aim. That's the main reason why I run it over Rogue, because if you look at Rogue, this is the same damage, it just has bigger knockback, which I don't think I care about too much, like, it's whatever. But Yellow Hand has a combo which can be very helpful. And the other reason is just Take Aim, you get 2 crit, this gives you 2 riposte. I think 2 crit is way better, because this is your opener, because you want to press Take Aim turn 1, and turn 2 is almost always Point Blank Shot. And Rogue just doesn't offer that. I guess you can use Grape Shot, but like, it isn't great damage, and this team is very much built around Point Blank Shot, just hitting big and like hitting big numbers. And the reason why I pick Yellow Hand over Wanderer is basically just Wicked Slice. Because on Wanderer you have Wicked Slice, which can be used from 3, which can be very helpful, but it doesn't come up too often, because then you can just press Pistol Shot very often. But Yellow Hand has that reach, and you obviously use the Execute and use a bit of damage, but I prefer the reach way more than the Wanderer Wicked Slice. Another option that I would consider sometimes is Sharp Shot. Sharp Shot has some really nice utility, because Point Blank Shot moves you back twice, which allows you to basically do this, where you go back, and Vestals in rank 2. If you want to play a more frontline focused Vestal, which in my opinion is worse, because you lose access to your heals, you can do it. And then you can use Duelist Advance to move forward, and then you can press your heals on demand, basically. The issue that I have with this team is, or with Sharp Shot for this team, is that Pistol Shot can't be used from rank 2. And that's really bad, because you want to be in rank 2 quite often, because Vestal is healing, and then you don't have a good way to move back, so you have to use Duelist Advance again, and then you have to use Point Blank Shot to move back. And that's 2 entire actions. And in those actions, most likely, Vestal has to heal again, and then it's like, why are you in the back line? Like, just move forward again, and then you just get stuck spamming Duelist Advance. And if you just spam Duelist Advance, I think Yellow Hand is way better, because you just get Wicked Slice for more reach, and more damage for that reach. You get Pistol Shot sometimes, which is just more flexible, and it's basically just the same thing. And like, the only advantage Sharp Shot really has is the extra damage on Pistol Shot, but like, that bit of damage and you lose the stun on Pistol Shot, that's kind of not a worthwhile trade. But yeah, the idea of this team is a big setup and just burst damage. You want to press Light on rank 1, and then you solo all the way forward, and you press Take Aim with Highwayman, and then Leper goes, and you just press Withstand because it's your only option. That's basically your turn 1. You get great defensive setup from Leper because Withstand is fantastic. Especially if you upgrade this might be one of your two first mastery points, just because Block Plus is fantastic. And then on turn 2, you instantly nuke something with Jester because you have Finale on something that's comboed, plus you get a strength token from Light. Then a Highwayman gets moved up into rank 1. I'm just going to show this like that. Like this. And then Highwayman can press point blank shot and probably nuke rank 1. And he moves back into rank 2. And then Leper goes again and procs the consecration for the 3rd time. And that basically gives you a full stack of conviction for a max heal from Divine Grace or max judgment. It really just depends on what you want. And Leper can just chop something, he can just intimidate, he can bash. It really just depends on what you need. And that's basically the idea of this team. You could just get really good dancing. You get really good upfront damage because most of the damage that you need is like fine, even without mastery, because look at point blank shot. Even without the strength, it's 15 damage. And that mostly one-taps frontliners. And if you give it strength, it deals even more damage. And Finale is just ridiculous. This thing one-taps like literally everything. Like there's so few backliners that can live strength up Finale. Especially if you upgrade this is insane. Like 20 to 26 plus strength, insane. Especially if you crit. Like this is incredible. And that's the basic idea of this team. There's some optimization to be made. I don't think this is like the optimal way to play this. You can definitely experiment. Duelist Advance is probably one of the moves I would consider cutting for like highway robbery or double tap even. Or just utility. Maybe even Grapeshot Blast or Open Vein to actually take advantage of Yellow Hand, and Wicked Slice I guess, but I'm still iffy of that on that because Duelist Advance you just don't tend to press. At least in my play, because you really want Leper to be in rank 1, so you can press Intimidate. And that's really good. And the riposte losing Intimidate from Leper can be worth it. Most of the time it's not. With Leper Kit, obviously, like Bash, you can take it out, but these 4 are pretty much a mainstay. I think I'm pretty close to the optimal play on this thing. It just depends on the path. If Poet is really good or Tempest is better, you just have to play around with that. I recommend that. Both are good. I've tried Tempest a lot more, but I can see Poet working really well. With Vessel, like, it's Seraph all the way, because Confessor just doesn't have that burst healing from Mantra, and Judgment is just kind of a lot weaker on Confessor, and Chaplain is just another thing. Like, Chaplain just doesn't exist. And Seraph can multi-proc Consecrations, fantastic. It's really built around Seraph. And you just get incredible value from your Consecrations. The kit can be worked on a lot. Sanctuary is really good. Comfort, Mantra, Administrations. Like, there's so much stuff with her kit that you can try. That could all work. I'm just kind of running this because I think, like, this is fantastic. Just a lot of healing. They can take advantage of all the Consecration you're putting down. With Jester, like, I've been running this for, like, almost a year at this point. So I think I'm pretty good with this loadout. If you obviously don't like this, sure, you can take out Razor's Wit, but like these 4 moves are basically required to make this team work. Echoing March is fine, you can run Slice Off, Harvest, Metal Ballad even, Play Out. But I just like Razor's Wit for the flexibility it gives. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. I'm planning to do more of this, where I just like talk about a team I found. Just like throw ideas out there that someone else can like pick up and just work with. I think this team has a lot of potential. Like the main event or like the main optimization points with this team, I think, is more and on the side of like how do you play it, because I don't even know if like putting him in rank 1 is the best play. You might just run this and like maybe the double proc is already enough, and then like rank 2 Yellow Hand is just better, or like you just run Sharp Shot and like something, maybe, I don't know. Like, but I think this core is solid. You can definitely do something with it, and yeah, try it out. This team is really fun. I have had a lot of success with it on Bastard's Beacon. You can just run it on basically anything, even on like normal torches. This should be just a fine team. Is it some uber meta team? Probably not. I think it can Grand Slam pretty well, but if you just want like optimal teams, like any team without Man-at-Arms is probably not good enough, or Flagellant for that matter. One of these tools should always be on your team because these are fantastic. This team specifically doesn't want them because Withstand is a taunt from rank 3, which this team really wants. And the only other taunt you have from rank 3 is Retribution. That's the only other taunt in the game that can be used from rank 3, and Retribution isn't great for this team specifically because Mad Arms isn't fantastic for this team. Because Retribution doesn't generate defensive tokens, and this team is kind of fragile, especially when you build it with Bastard's Beacon in mind, because then you can't just have Highwaymen or Jester just taking shots. Like, that's just not possible. But yeah, that was about it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe, leave a like, who cares, and have a good day.